to the grand final of the New Inventors. This is it. We have had 120 inventions on the show this year, and by the end of tonight, one will have been judged our Invention of the Year. And the winning inventor won't just get a trophy, they will receive a package of prizes that could quite literally change their life. And they'll receive those prizes from our very special guest, the Governor-General of Australia. We've seen some extraordinary things on the New Inventors this year. Here are just a few of them. It's a little composition of my own that I call Fairly Ordinary.
It looks actually foolproof, but
yes.
Is there any way I could just get up there and stuff it up?
Not that I know of.
You don't know me, Jim.
And what about colours and finishes? And
we've got 18 colours.
18 colours?
Yes. Colours, get out.
Wow. Putting some globs, would you call them globs?
Dobs.
Dobs on the wall, there we go. Very good, isn't it?
It is totally inventive. There is nothing like that on the market.
It looks like you've taken into consideration a bit of the cow comfort too. Cow looks quite comfy.
It's not a cow.
Oh.
Then all you to mix it, you go, look at that. Woohoo!
To make something as awkward as a gas bottle fit like a glove, that's what I call an invention. Well done.
It goes forward, then, oh yes, it gets it, and then bang! Look at that! Hey, take it! Box on! This is a model your father made, in fact.
Oh, he's very clever, yeah. Don't break it, Dad'll get...
Yeah, OK, sorry. Sam has actually invented over 700 things. I guess to demonstrate, he'd try and land, and then, whoa! Save the cathedrals of the world from...
Wouldn't that be good?
Who's going to win? That's what I want to know. Who's going to win?
I can just see people watching this going, I want one.
Yeah, I can't wait. Put years on your life. Can you guys talk amongst yourselves for a while? The memories. Tonight we'll discover which are the 5 inventions that are in the running to be named our Invention of the Year. We'll find out why those 5 have been selected by our judges as the best inventions of the year. And then tonight's 3 judges will have the onerous responsibility of picking our 2006 Invention of the Year. So who are our judges tonight? Please welcome engineer James Bradfield Moody, science journalist Bernie Hobbs, and designer and inventor Sally Dominks. Welcome all. Thank you for coming. Earlier, our 40-episode winners were reduced to 5 finalists. How? Well, we got all 10 judges, and they're all here tonight. Hello, all 10 judges. Welcome. We locked them all in a room, and this is what happened.
Well, this is it. We've got our 40 winners from the year, and today we've got to knock them down to our 5 grand finalists.
This is a case of an invention that on the surface looks very similar to other things that have been done, but once you open it up under the hood, you find out that it's working in a completely original, unique way.
It is pretty awesome. Yeah. It's Tool-a-rama.
It will be a marginal increase in cost and a significant selling point.
The way it goes together is awesome. The fact that you can take that out, the cost saving is huge, the labour saving.
It's not a particularly sexy invention, but it is, in my view, that will become ubiquitous.
There's a design flaw if you're introducing maintenance into a thing where there never was maintenance before.
The question is structural integrity, if he's got, whether he's sort of adequately addressed that issue. To me, that was one of the big concerns.
I think this invention is going to find a market immediately because of the cost and because simply there's nothing else like it out there.
It's a huge market and very, very simple. It's not only where it is now, but it's where it's going. You know, is totally unique. There's no others.
Is there another way of doing this? And there currently is.
Need.
There have been other ways of doing this in the past, but nothing that gives this 100% effective result.
I loved this. I
love it too.
Have we got it?
We got it.
We've got our 5.
We've got the 5.
We've got our 5. We've got our 5.
Right, now, Bernie, you were the chairperson. We didn't see anyone throwing anything there, but did it get...
Clever editing.
Did it get heated? Did it get angry?
There was a lot of emotion and a lot of real fighting and, and forging of champions and, people really wanting things they were passionate about to get up there. But we could only have 5, and so it was a really tough day, and frankly, I don't think I got paid enough.
It did end in violent agreement, I think.
Violent agreement.
That's so true. It was a fun fight, but a happy one.
Well, if you have to have violent agreement is the best type to have.
Yeah.
I think. The first of the 5 finalists that our judges picked was invented by a person who might one day meet someone in the street who will say to him, you know what, without your invention, I'd be dead. Here it is.
The motivation for my invention came from my experiences in El Salvador and Pakistan, where I saw the tremendous loss when mud brick houses collapsed. So who'd have thought, 5 years later, 8,000 mud bricks, and here we are with a solution that could potentially save millions of lives. And the icing on the cake, being in the grand final. Quake Safe is a mud brick house support frame made from string, bamboo and wire that can be incorporated into any mud brick building. During construction, string is placed in between the layers of mud brick. These string ends are then used to tie the vertical bamboo stakes to the wall. When the stakes are in place, wire is tied between them to create a frame. In an earthquake, the frame acts as a net, holding the bricks together. The walls crack but don't crumble, leaving the building intact and upright. If I were to win, I think the first thing I'd do is just to pour myself a nice, full mud bath, settle down with a cold beer and ponder what's next.
Please welcome from Newcastle, Dom Dowling. Hey, Dom. Welcome back. Congratulations. Now, you've been all over the place since we saw you on the show with this.
I had 2 trips to Pakistan recently.
Yeah. And why Pakistan? What are you looking at there?
The big earthquake there in October last year, and that killed about 80,000 people, and so I took a chance to look at the reconstruction process and to see how my system may be applicable there.
If we have a look at the bits, I guess, you've got one of the great things about this is you build it with accessible materials. Just tell us a little bit about that and how they fit together.
Yeah, so in this model here, we're using bamboo poles on each side of the wall. That's connected with wire, with string passing through the wall, and then wire running horizontally to sort of truss it up or create a net around it.
Is the roof going to fall in if the walls are held in place?
Well, there's much less risk, because if the walls fall apart, obviously the roof has nowhere to go but down.
All right, let's look at some of the footage we've got of... well, this is sort of an earthquake machine, isn't it, Dom?
Yeah, this was the testing we did at UTS on our shake table facility.
And that replicates an earthquake that is how strong?
Well, this was using the magnitude 7.7 earthquake from El Salvador, and then we've actually increased it as well.
Oh, OK. Do you get many stronger than that?
Not really.
OK, so what are we seeing there? We're seeing the house being shaken around.
We're seeing the house damaged, but not collapsed.
OK, now we've got our own little earthquake machine here that's part manual but part mechanical. This is replicating, well, an earthquake at some streets. But then, if I go like this... Now, what's that? So we can see there's cracking, but nothing's fallen down.
That's it.
Which means people have time to get out and they're alive.
That's the main objective.
Fantastic. Come over and sit down, Dom.
Thanks, James.
And I guess this is going to be cheap, isn't it, for people who...
Well, if it's not cheap, it's not going to...
Yeah.
It's no use, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
James, why is this in our top 5?
Look, I think this is a finalist because it's both simple and straightforward, but it's got some real academic rigour behind it. And I'm just interested to know, we've seen the simulated tests. Has the actual design been tested in a real earthquake, and how did it survive?
That's the next stage for us, really. So all of the testing we saw in the footage was 1:2 scale, so much larger than this. So yeah, the next thing is the real stuff, but we're pretty confident.
And just to clarify, it saves people, not buildings. So after an earthquake like that, you'd have to knock the house down and start again. But the point is, people will be able to get out.
Yeah, but so for a low intensity earthquake, there might be some damage that can be repaired. But for the big stuff, any mud brick house, and lots of structures need to be replaced.
And some of it might even be reusable as well. Which
Okay,
definitely.
Bernie?
Dom, when I was on the original show, I just remember being struck by what a great Christmas gift idea it would be. You know, we've got a letterbox full of, give a friend a goat for Christmas things at the moment.
Yeah.
Have you progressed along that route with NGOs, or how are you getting the idea out there?
I've received some really lovely emails from viewers who have offered to make that donation, so we're looking towards, how we accept that and funnel that through.
Now, there's not a big culture of renovating in Adobe society. So how do you retrofit an Adobe to include Quake Safe?
Very simply, it's just a matter of drilling the holes through the walls, inserting the string, putting the bamboo on and wiring it up. Yeah.
Sally, what impressed you about this? Why is it here?
What impresses me, actually, as much as the structure itself, is the fact that it's so easy to retrofit. I think that's amazing. And I think the framing around the outside is super. I'm just wondering, some societies that use mud brick don't have bamboo. I think you mentioned timber before. What other inexpensive fibres have you found that will do the job in non-bamboo societies?
Yeah, so what I saw in Pakistan was availability of timber, but we could also consider things like PVC piping if we had some support. So it's just any material, so timber, bamboo, cane, or plastic piping that can do the trick.
Summing up, Jane.
Look, unlike a lot of our other inventions, your challenge is not in manufacture or marketing, it's all in education. And I really commend you for making the idea freely available. Well done.
Bernie?
And I just can't wait to see what you come up with next, something that will make you a bit of money, hopefully. But I think you're doing a fantastic job for the planet right now.
Sally?
Yeah, it comes down for me to an obvious graphic that's going to show so many people that can use it how to use it, and I think that'll be the next project.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. Good on you, Dom. Please thank Dom Dowling.
Thank you.
Now, some of you may be thinking, hey, why can't I invent something? Well, maybe you can. Tonight, you'll learn how you too could become a successful inventor. All you need to do is follow a few simple steps, and here's the first.
Expect no rest. Your invention will dominate your thoughts every spare moment you get. So always carry a notebook and a pen. You never know when inspiration will strike, and ideas, like fish, are best captured fresh.
Ideas are so like fish, aren't they? Now, you might not look at the second of our finalists tonight and immediately shout, yes, Invention of the Year! But it's original, it's well designed, it simply and cleverly solves a problem, and it makes a roof a safer place to work and lets you build one more quickly. And then, of course, there's the name, the Frook.
We invented the Frook, and the Frook is
a safer, adjustable, reusable tool for installing roofs.
And it lets you get to the pub on time.
Frook is a steel clamp and hook system that laces together to space and support trusses until they're permanently secured.
To use it, you preset the Frook to the length required between each truss.
You then fix a clamp to the first truss and hook the Frook through the eyelet, ready to clamp on to the next truss.
You repeat this until all trusses are in place.
Should you need to adjust the length once they're in place, you simply wind the rod in or out for millimetre accuracy. Once the roof is secured, you remove them, ready for your next job.
If we win the grand final and the Frook is the best invention of the year, we're going to throw one big, massive party.
And seeing I don't drink anymore, I'll freeze one into ice blocks and chew it, and you can serve it to me as ice blocks in a glass.
Sounds like a frookin' good idea, mate.
Please welcome from Townsville, Ken Jaffers and Peter Stevens. You're ready?
Again?
Yeah, well, it's nice to have you here. You're already a hit with the audience, I think. Now, the Frook, you guys don't even work in the trade, but you, as plasterers, you spend a lot of time looking at people on roofs.
Yep.
And seeing how dangerous it was.
Dicing with death, yeah.
What you do with a roof, you've got to make sure the trusses are the same distance apart.
Yep.
And, for example, here it might be 600 mils apart, and then, so you'd bring in the next truss 600 mils apart, right? And then, the old way, you'd sort of hammer this batten to them all to keep them together. Now, what was wrong with that?
Just carrying too many tools, your hands are full.
It's awkward.
It's unsafe, It's awkward.
So show us what you do with the Frook.
Well, the Frook goes in this hole here that's ready for the next truss.
So when you finish the last one, you just hook the next one on?
When the next truss comes up.
Yeah, I'll be the crane.
Righto.
There we go.
On goes the Frook.
On it goes. And you just tie it up. And it stays on, Pete, for how long?
Well, until the permanent bracing's put on.
Yeah.
But if that's not correct spacing, you just turn that to adjust left or right.
And then on the back of it, there's these marks. What are they for?
That's originally before you get up. If you know from your truss plans on the drawings, if it's a 600 centre, that fat mark there, lined up with the end of the thread on the rod, tells you that it's preset 600 centre.
That it's in the right spot.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. Come along. Have you had come and sit down? Have you had much demand since you've been on the show? Do people want them? You've got a big container load, haven't you?
Yeah, we had a bit of interest. Yeah, it's been good. Yep.
How many got made? 15?
Nationally and internationally. Yeah, we got 15 or 16,000 in a container.
Right. Well, I hope it's seen empty.
Yeah, good.
Bernie, why is the Frook here tonight?
I tell you, when I was on the original show with the Frook, we were completely blown away that something that seemed so simple was doing such a great job, unlike anything else. What's the response been in terms of taking up this new system? Have you had good feedback and good uptake?
It's been really good. Anyone that uses it is just absolutely blown away. They just don't want to go back to the old method.
Sally?
Yeah, definitely the fact that it improves their safety and their efficiency should mean they'll buy it.
Yep.
I was thinking of the small operators. Now, I've worked out for one room you probably need about 10 Frooks to frame up, so that's about $400. Has there been an industry reaction to that sort of pricing? Any feedback?
There's probably always going to be a reaction to pricing in the industry, but they've got to remember that they originally bought a compressor and a nail gun. It was very expensive, and that took the skill out of bending nails. And the natural progression will be that this will take the skill out of dropping the nail gun.
We've had a large number of roofing inventions on the show this year, but what made this one really stand out was that it was increased the safety so much.
Yep.
Have you had any feedback from people about how much safer it might be?
We had one guy in Townsville, the first guy we started using it, about the third house that he did, I went out and I used to go out on the job with him to make sure they're doing the right thing, and I was standing there one day and I said to him, how do you feel safety-wise now, Trev? And he said, well, have a look at this, Ken. And he grabbed the trusses and he's going, and I said, Trevor, stop it. He said, well, it'd be on the ground if it was pine, wouldn't it?
Summing up, Betty?
Oh, look, it's faster, it's cheaper, it's safer, it's going to last forever. There's nothing that's lacking in this at all. It's just terrific. Great job.
So?
Yeah, and as a design, it's just really well thought out. There's nothing superfluous. It's just a really neat trick. I like it.
James?
Look, I agree. It's safe, it's easy, it's reusable. I think it's going to be a real winner with builders and roofers. Done.
Please thank Ken Jaffers and Peter Stevens. Thank you very much, Peter. And will the Frook be our invention of the year? We'll find out at the end of the show. We'll also find out which invention you've picked as the winner of the New Inventors People's Choice Award. Here, though, are some brilliant ideas from the inventors of tomorrow.
My invention is the electronic newspaper, and it saves you the trouble of having to buy a newspaper every day. Its antenna receives the radio waves that contain the news, and it just prints it out onto a piece of paper.
I've invented the Mexi cooker. If you do the Mexican dance around a hat I've invented, and you've told it what food you want, it will make the food for you.
My invention is the Yes helmet. You press the on button and your parents will obey your orders and they'll say yes to everything. My mum was just yelling at my little sister because she lost her hat at school. So I thought, well, maybe I should do something. My invention can help people track down their clothes or their lunchbox. You put the chip on your clothing and you iron over it. My invention is called Bubblegum Blast. It mixes bubblegum with no sugar. The way it works is there's a blender and there's a claw that puts the fruit into the blender.
It's the hover racer. On the back, it has 2 fans to propel it forward. It's got a solar panel bit at the tip. I'd like to be an inventor when I grow up because it's a pretty much get-rich-quick scheme if you create the right thing.
Last young bloke should talk to some of our inventors about whether it really is a get-rich-quick scheme. He might be in for a shock. Our third finalist is an invention that benefits two groups of people, bedridden patients and those who care for them. If you're bedridden and can't move, then unless you get moved regularly by someone else, you can get bed sores, which can be really painful, and worse, they can get infected. And that can sometimes lead even to death. So the nurse or carer has to regularly move the patient. Until now.
My invention repositions immobile patients at risk of developing pressure ulcers, and I feel it is a good contender for the invention of the year because it greatly improves the quality of life for both the carers as well as the patient. The programmable turning bed automatically repositions the patient in bed by rocking them from side to side. 3 flexible panels form a safety cradle underneath the mattress. This stabilizes the patient to ensure they don't roll. It can be programmed to continually rotate every few minutes to help prevent pressure sores and to assist with pain management. I'm so excited about being in the grand final that I haven't really thought about what will I do if I win, but I will take a few days off work and catch up on my sleep in my comfortable bed.
Please welcome from Melbourne, Hannah Piazza. Hi, Hannah. You look lovely. Now the cradle. It's all about the cradle, isn't it? Now, if we want to, can you put the cradle down for us initially? And so that is the thing that actually allows you to lift up and move people around automatically. You can program this to be sort of person-free and operate potentially moving someone every 5 minutes all through a night, yeah?
Exactly, and that was my purpose.
Now, I just want everyone to have a bit of a look at how awkward moving someone could be, or can be, really, unless you use this. I'll play the part of someone who's bedridden, which quite suits me because I'm very lazy. Now, Hannah, if you were my carer and I was bedridden, how would you move me?
I would have to get another nurse to help me. I can't do it on my own. So I would get that person and basically I would have to move you towards me physically.
Right. No, I won't help you at all.
Over.
Can you do it?
Yes.
Don't hurt your back.
1, 2, 3. Ups. And the other nurse would slide a sliding sheet underneath.
Right.
And then we'll pop you back.
Right.
And then we'll slide you. The other nurse will pull you
do it the other way. So it's obviously very awkward and
heavy work.
Okay, well, let's see how we do it using your invention. Firstly, you put the cradle up.
Just pop the side up just for safety.
So I feel beautifully cocooned now. Feel safe and warm and then to make it actually turn,
I just press a button, basically.
I can feel as it moves, even that little bit, the parts of my body where the pressure is changing, and that's what's going to prevent you getting bed sores.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Fantastic.
Relieving the pressure.
Well, I mean, it just it's just amazing how it does that. Now come over and sit down. Leave that lovely bed. But essentially, as long as you keep changing where the weight is, people won't get bed sores.
Absolutely.
And people do die of them, right?
About 1,000 people a year in Australia.
1,000 a year? My goodness. Sally?
Yeah, Hannah, your cradle's a first for turning beds, and we were all blown away by the design and by the value of it. What else can that cradle motion do for the patient?
Just the psychological well-being for the patient, if they can do it themselves, or a caregiver can just reposition them wherever they want to rather than wait.
So as long as a patient can use a hand, then they can operate it themselves.
Absolutely.
James.
And I can imagine one of the other amazing benefits is this is just being able to have a good night's sleep.
Yes, both for the carers as well as the patients. We've trialled them extensively, and the one thing that patients often would come up over and over again is like, this is the first time, like in 8 years or 4 years, I've had an uninterrupted sleep.
That must be that must be really rewarding.
Fantastic.
Bernie?
Hannah, it really blew me away because years ago I was in hospital for over a week, and that being woken up every hour was so distressing, and you're trying to get better. So I think people who haven't experienced that don't understand how important it is. And so, I mean, for me, that really brought it home to me. But I love that this is really addressing not just the patient's needs, but the carers. And in the trials that you've done, have you had responses from nurses or carers about how whether it's making their life easier or how much of an improvement it's making to their world?
As an example, one gentleman that has the bed at the moment, he was going to go into a nursing home. He's 47 years old, and he says, like, this has given me a new lease on life because I don't have to have someone there overnight.
Summing up, Sally.
Yeah, well, it's relieving stress on nurses, literally, and also it's making their time more effective, and it's giving dignity back to the patient. I just think it's amazing.
James?
I can see why hospitals are so impressed with this, but it's not just for hospitals, it's for nursing homes or even home care. Well done.
Bernie?
And the fact that you're going to make it available for hire makes it so much more affordable for people who might only need it in the short term. It's just terrific.
Please thank Hannah Piazza. Now, how you too can become an inventor. Step 2.
Investigate the market thoroughly. Make sure there is a demand for your idea that is not being filled by another product. Just because it hasn't been invented yet doesn't mean there's a need for it.
So far we've seen 3 contenders for the invention of the year: the Quake Safe, the Frook and the programmable turning bed. 2 to go. As well as the winner of the People's Choice Award and the announcement of our judges' choice as the invention of the year. Our 4th finalist is an invention that could solve a big problem. Lots of people have enough water near them, but it's dirty. They drink it, they get sick. This is something simple and accessible that could let them turn that dirty water into clean water.
My invention will enable anyone anywhere in the world in a sunny place to get pure drinking water from any available dirty seawater, bore water or even tap water. And I'm absolutely over the moon at being given the opportunity to appear in the grand final of the New Inventors Show.
The solar water purifier is a more efficient way to use sunlight to turn contaminated water into drinking water. Contaminated water flows into a series of heat-absorbing black plastic trays. The sun's rays pass through the glass. The infrared rays heat the water, and the ultraviolet rays kill the germs. As the temperature rises, the water evaporates and condenses under the glass. Clean water trickles down the glass into a container ready for drinking, leaving impurities to flow into a waste container.
If I am lucky enough to win the grand final of the New Inventors, I'll feel vindicated that 14 years of effort has been rewarded with a solar water purifier which will benefit all of Australia and mankind, and I will celebrate with a glass of pure drinking water.
Please welcome from Adelaide, John Ward. Hi, John. Thank you for coming in. You invented this with the noblest of motives, to give people water, and I understand since you've been on the show there's been lots of demand for it. From where?
From Pakistan, from a small fishing village which gets most of its income from fish and goats being converted into chamois leather.
Yeah.
And they have to use all of the money from those 2 sources to buy in water. Rotary have now sourced this village and they've donated several of these panels.
Now, if we just, that's on, right?
Yes, that's on.
And that is, well, that's dirty water.
It is.
The water runs down here from tray to tray to tray, and as it does, as it gets hotter with the sun's rays, am I right here? The pure water evaporates, clings to the ceiling, runs down, hits this little stopper here, and is captured in there. Pure water, whereas the dirty stuff goes in there. So
that's correct. And you can put all sorts of dirty water in. Bore water, seawater, urine, effluent, radioactive water.
There was one you said in the middle there that I really don't want to know about. So, part of it is these domes. Now, if we see the domes there, now, how do they work? And why
They're called thermal expansion domes.
Yeah.
And as a piece of plastic gets hot, it grows bigger.
And also, it's the seal is actually water. The seal becomes water, so you don't get the water tasting of anything like rubber.
That's correct.
Yeah.
As the water vapour tries to escape, it condenses out, and the surface tension of the water pulls the glass down and holds it down with a force of about 80 kilos.
All right, John, come over and sit down. Now, how much are they going to cost per, well, say one of them? How much will it cost people?
At the moment, about
$400.
Okay.
However, with mass production, that price could reduce dramatically.
James.
Well, John, this one really stood out in terms of need. Because in some developing countries you have the choice of maybe drinking bore water that's got arsenic in it or river water that's got something worse in it. And this gave you another choice. But the price, $300 to $400, is that a problem in developing countries?
In developing countries, yes. But at the moment, very luckily, we've been picked up by Rotary International, and using their free labour, they source in the components, assemble it to our specification, and then give them away.
Bernie?
John, there are actually plenty of solar water purifiers out there, but what made yours stand out phenomenally for us was that you've pretty much doubled the efficiency that anyone else has been able to achieve. Now, you said the domes are about acting as an expansion joint, but are they what's behind the increase in efficiency? No?
What's behind the efficiency and the doubling of the output compared to anyone else in the world is the shape of the little trays. The trays are about 100 millimetres square and 10 millimetres deep, and they're specially shaped so that the water vapour can bob up and down above the liquid, gets very excited, and suddenly it coalesces. Forms a sheet of water, and it flows down the underside of the glass, and you collect it in the collection channel.
Sally.
John, how long can the unit be left dry and unused before the waste bit of it becomes too caked to easily remove?
Virtually indefinitely. Ideally, you have to keep it wet. If you keep it wet all the time, it is a very rare event to clean it.
There's no moving parts.
And there's no moving parts, no
break.
chemicals, no filters, and if you keep it wet, it never needs cleaning.
Look how excited you are! Look how excited you are! Sally, one more?
Well, I have got one more. It's about the surface tension. So your seal around the edge is created by the surface tension.
Yes.
Is there anything that could compromise that seal and perhaps allow that water inside to be contaminated?
We haven't found that as yet. And we put many sorts of dirty water in. Water with Escherichia coli in, Campylobacter, Giardia, arsenic, you name it. We've tried all the things which are common events in water, and we've never had anything but a pure water seal.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Summing up, James?
Well, it looks like you've shrunk nature's water cycle into a small, complete package and thought of everything. Well done.
Bernie?
Thank you.
And, I first saw it on the Leyland Brothers with a bit of old black plastic and a rock, and you've just taken it to the next level, John. It's terrific.
Sally?
Yeah, I love the efficiencies you've achieved with such a clever little form design. It's a ripper.
Please thank John Ward. Good on you, John. Thank you very much.
Document your development process exhaustively in bound notebooks with ink. And have all pages signed and dated by a disinterested witness. This will establish you as the inventor of your work and will be an invaluable resource for your biographer.
Last year on The New Inventors, we were very sad to lose one of our judges to leukaemia. Les Miller was a wonderful bloke, and in his honour, we have a special award that rewards an inventor who was motivated not primarily by the desire to get rich, but by the desire to help others or to protect the environment. These are the nominees for the Les Is More Award.
The pipe trap is an alternative to the conventional wire mesh trap. Unlike conventional traps, the animal feels secure because it is enclosed rather than being exposed to the elements or predators. This means that the trapped animal is less stressed and unlikely to hurt itself or damage the trap. I spend a lot of time studying animals in the bush, and I hope my invention makes that study easier on the animals.
SGD Mobile Access is a software interface that can be added to existing speech-generating devices which turn typed text into speech. Rosie can use the device speaker to communicate her pre-composed message. Hello.
Hi, this is Rosie. How are you?
With my new interface, people like Rosie can now have full control of their mobile phone and can enjoy a more independent life.
In 2001, I witnessed a major earthquake in El Salvador. I was shocked at the number of mud brick houses which collapsed, trapping people inside. Quake Safe is a mud brick house support frame. In an earthquake, the frame acts as a net, holding the bricks together, leaving the building intact and upright.
Microbats love eating mosquitoes and other insects, so they're a great natural way to control pests.
But as their habitat's depleted by development, the bats are forced to find new places to roost.
The hanging microbat box is hung in the bat's usual flight path, so it's easy for them to find.
Up to 50 bats at a time can use the box.
Our bat box provides a safe haven for microbats.
If turning on the tap is a challenge, or you suffer from arthritis, my invention makes a painful task simple again. EveryCare Water Miser is a foot-operated pressure pad, which allows you to turn your water on and off without using your hands. My invention not only makes turning on taps a breeze, but it allows you to save water one small step at a time.
They're all fantastic, but we do want to single out one in particular. The winner of the Les Is More Award for 2006 is Tone to win with the SGD Mobile Access. Now, people are actually using this and it's making a difference to their lives. Can you tell us how?
Yes, most definitely. Before, they weren't able to use the mobile phone, but now with my system, they have the ability to independently use a mobile phone like everyone else.
Thank you very much for inventing it, and thanks for being here tonight. Good on you. Tone to win, ladies and gentlemen. Good on you.
No matter how well thought out and documented your idea is, a prototype will be invaluable in conveying it to others. If you are good with your hands, you may be able to build one yourself. If not, employ a professional to do it for you.
Coming up, the announcement of the New Inventors People's Choice Award winner for 2006, and then the big one, the announcement of the 2006 Invention of the Year by the Governor-General of Australia. But first, our fifth finalist. Every day, air compressors use lots of power, make lots of noise. By simply closing the circuit and recycling the air they use, our fifth inventor has created an air compressor that uses less energy and makes less noise.
My invention is EARS, Exhausted Air Recycling System for air compressors, which is great for the occupational health and safety of workers and the environment. So I'm rapt for it to be picked in the grand final. EARS is a system of fittings and attachments which converts previously wasted air back into energy. The system works by simply tapping into the exhaust port of the air tool. This then redirects the air through a low pressure hose into the EARS manifold. The system is then able to create high pressure on the intake and increase the air volume of the machine. This dramatically reduces noise and removes hazardous fumes from the workspace. If I win Invention of the Year, the first thing I'm going to do is celebrate with all my friends, family and people who have supported me over the last 12 months. Then I'm going to get on with my new invention that will hopefully get me on the New Inventors next year.
Please welcome from Melbourne, Chris Boschua. When you were on the show a few months ago, you had one other person working on this. How many now?
We got 13 now.
13?
Yep.
And what's happened? Is there any interest anywhere?
Yes, lots of interest all over the world. We've got America, Brazil, Sweden, Scandinavia,
really?
Latin America, Mexico.
Yep. And you've been jumping all around the world going, hey, look at this.
Yeah.
Just take us through exactly what it does, because it's so simple, just recycling the air. Show us firstly how, I guess...
Well, it's traditional normal air tool. When you expel the air, very noisy.
It's so noisy we didn't hear you.
That's right.
But basically, you use this for things like, well, what's that?
This is an air drill, so this is used in the car industry.
Yeah. What else do you use them for?
You can use it for anything like an automotive industry, for assembling, polishing, grinding cars, rattle guns for tyres.
Now, normally, as we saw, the air's pumped in, and then when it's used, out it goes into the air. It makes a lot of noise. Okay. What do you do?
So now with our system, we just virtually think the new coupling now.
So you're essentially closing the circuit, aren't you? The air goes in, and then it comes out again. And where does it go?
Yeah, we redirect it through this second hose now. This is a one hose with two hoses built into it.
Yep.
And then it comes back. We redirect the exhausted air into the intake of and boost the intake of the compressor, therefore doubling the efficiency of the actual compressor.
Doubling, and effectively, what used to be a waste product is now powering the tool.
That's correct.
Show us again.
And then that's the new tool.
But wait.
No noise.
That'll do. It hardly makes any noise.
No.
Well, what another benefit.
That's right.
Isn't it?
Yes, another benefit, yep.
2 benefits.
2.
Fantastic. Come across and sit down. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Not 1, but 2. Bernie.
Well, Chris, you really nailed what it was that blew us all away with this invention when we saw it, because, you know, air is what you need in a compressor, and air is the waste from a compressor. Why the hell did no one else think to feed it back in there? And you've done a great job in doing that. And I think a lot of people don't get how hopelessly inefficient air compressors are. I mean, it's pretty routine to be running at 5% efficiency, which is absolutely appalling. So even if you just get that up to 10%, that's still a massive improvement. What kind of benefit are you going to see in workshops and things in terms of costs for power with that doubling of efficiency?
Cost of power on most of the calculations we've done now, in fact, we've actually fitted out worldwide now. You can save anywhere between 28 to 43% on your power consumption to produce the same amount of free air to run the same amount of tools. So if you've got 10 tools now, then you can run it on about 28% less power to run those same 10 air tools.
So almost a third. That's just terrific.
It's a lot of greenhouse too.
Yeah, it certainly is. The system also keeps moisture and dust and rubbish out of the machine as well as the work environment.
The work environment is the biggest part that we focus on with it, because you're not breathing in the fumes. The fumes that come out of the air tool are actually hazardous to your health.
Sally?
Yeah, it's just such a huge improvement in safety and in economy, which is sort of both ends of it. I see the retrofit unit as a key to small business and to the developing world.
Yep.
And the retrofit unit is around $3,500.
It all depends. It depends on the size of the compressors. This particular unit here, the retrofit kit for that's only about $650.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And then you can go to a bigger compressor that might be 450 horsepower and it might be $7,000.
And that'll pay for itself in electricity savings.
Capital investment payback is normally about 2 years on a bigger product, which is great in the industry to get a capital investment payback under 5 years, let alone 2 years.
Look, it's very clear you're saving energy because the noise level goes down. Have you done any extra testing on this and got any more results?
Yes, we've got about 6 different companies now around the world have tested it, and we've got positive test results back from every single one of them. Not one of them has faulted it in any way.
Summing up, Bernie.
A lot of people don't get that about 10% of our industrial electricity use in this country goes on air compressors.
Really?
So, yeah. So by cutting, by up to a third the amount of electricity that's being drawn, that's a third less greenhouse gas being produced in that sector, and that's phenomenal.
Yep.
So?
Yeah, and the way you've helped the workers probably to communicate with each other, because there's less noise, plus you've eliminated all the dust and things, probably end up in factory floors being completely redesigned to accommodate, the sort of benefit that you've given. I think it's amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
James?
Look, pressure is energy, and by recycling the pressure, you're getting more power out of a small air compressor. So I think you're going to do very well.
Please thank Chris
Thank you very
Boshuah.
much.
Thank you very much.
Your greatest assets will be single-minded determination and pitbull tenacity. Pursue and develop your idea tirelessly. Never give up. Never, never, never give up. And your invention will have its day.
Now you know how to be an inventor. We've seen each of our 5 finalists. Now our judges have to pick one as the invention of the year. Which one? Will it be the earthquake-proofing Quake Safe, the roof-building Frook, the bed-sore-preventing programmable turning bed, the water-cleaning solar water purifier, or the quiet and efficient ears for air compressors? Let's begin with you, James Moody, and the criteria of design. Which is the best designed?
They're all wonderful designs. They wouldn't have made it to the grand final if they weren't. But for me, the programmable turning bed is a very well-resolved design.
Yep.
But the ears wins it because it's such a great system putting that energy
You're
back.
just looking through engineers' eyes. I love the Frook, the programmable turning bed for the same reason. But the Frook is it's as completely resolved as you can need in terms of a design, doing exactly what it needs to do, nothing more, nothing less. It's it.
True, but what about Quake Safe? Talk about doing what it needs to do.
Yeah.
You push a bit of string through, you tie things down, but the whole thing is the simplest, most effective design.
And I guess it's not material
It's not
dependent
beautiful,
either.
but it's, function and form.
Which is the most original, so?
Well, a lot of them are completely original. Well, they all are. They all are. I mean, Quake Safe hasn't been done, Frook hasn't been done, turning bed, solar water purified, double the efficiencies of anything else.
Okay, originality, Bernie?
The exhaust air recycling system for just going, waste, input and putting it all in together.
Yeah.
Spectacular.
Yeah.
And Quake Safe for just doing, Adobe's have been around for millions of years and no one has done anything to earthquake-proof them.
I'm not going to repeat those because I totally agree, but the fruit as well. I mean, there's nothing out there. It's going to save a whole lot of lives, I think, in terms of just the occupational health and safety.
Which one does the world need the most, James?
Look, we all need drinking water. And I think the solar water purifier is definitely, got a big application in that area. But we also need secure houses. So I think the Quake Safe comes up.
And we don't need bed sores.
Quality of life, definitely the programmable turning bed for saving of life, Quake Safe, and for saving the planet, ears. So,
okay, very quickly, some of them have already found a market. Which one of ones is most likely to find a market? Very quickly, James.
Look, this one actually is a dilemma because in a traditional market, I'd say the ears is most likely to find it. But in terms of its broad application, the Quake Safe.
Annie?
Frook. It's going to be out there. Frook and ears are just going to totally go off.
Growing population, I say turning bed. Turning bed has huge application as we all get older.
Renovating population. Frook.
All right, well, listen, to make your final decision, you can have some privacy. When you come back, I want you to have one name. That'll be our 2006 inventor and invention of the year. Off you go.
It's going to be hard.
Wish them luck, everyone. So soon the announcement of our Inventor of the Year, but first, the New Inventors People's Choice Award is voted by you. The winner will, thanks to Austrade, get a trip to the 2006 Hong Kong Trade Development Council's Innovation and Design Expo, and I hope they're packed because they leave tomorrow. The finalists are...
Ever tried backing a trailer in a straight line? It's tricky business. My invention is a coupling device that joins your trailer to your car. As you reverse, pressurised gas struts on either side of the device stop the trailer from veering from side to side by pushing it into alignment with the car. My invention helps take the hit and miss out of backing your trailer.
The Kangaroo is a manual sports wheelchair that can adapt to an electric wheelchair and then transform between outdoors gutter hopping wheelchair to a compact indoor wheelchair with a flick of a button. I've invented a wheelchair that can hop over obstacles to access a lot more locations.
The Bull Mixer is a self-loading mixer which is attached to farm, road and building equipment. Driven by a hydraulic motor, it's able to pick up and load sand and gravel into the bowl of the machine, eliminating the need for manual labour.
My bull mixer can make up to 1,000 litres of concrete, making big jobs a one-man operation.
The non-mechanical impact driver comprises a Y-shaped tool and striking rod. Using the standard socket or screwdriver set, you simply attach the right fitting to the end of the tool. Then place it at an angle over the bolt or screw and hit it with the rod.
I believe life was meant to be easy. Elation is a kit that turns a regular bicycle into an electric-powered one. The electric motor is activated by a lever and is shut off by applying the brakes. Depending on where you want to go, you can use pedal power, electric power, or a mixture of both. By switching between electric and pedal power, my invention gets you to work on time without even breaking out a sweat.
And the winner of the New Inventors 2006 People's Choice Award is Colin Johansson and the Kangaroo. Colin, congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, congratulations. Anyone you want to thank?
First of all, I'd like to thank all the viewers out there who've made me their choice for the People's Choice Award. Without you, I certainly wouldn't be here.
Colin Johansson, everyone. Well done. Thanks again, mate. Thank you very much. I understand our judges have made a decision as to which invention they've picked as the invention of the year. Before we hear what it is, let's find out what's happened to some of the inventions that have previously appeared on the New Inventors. Please welcome from Wagga Wagga, David Gregor and Deirdre Lamerle.
The main thing that's happened since being on the New Inventors is that we've had interest from farmers all over Australia and even overseas.
We won an award at Henty, which is a major national agricultural show that's located near Wagga. We've been on International Resource Magazine. They featured us on the front page, which is in effect an award.
The winner is Carolyn Naismith and the Cardi Bra.
I went to a private hospital in Melbourne last week and fitted it on a lady who cried and said, "Oh, thanks, that's just so comfortable." And that was a real highlight for me, because that's the whole reason for having the Cardi Bra in the first place, is it's to give support to women recovering from cardiac surgery.
Please welcome Angus and David Reardon.
We've had expressions of interest from people in heavy industry such as mining or major water infrastructure projects, and they're looking at developing this device for very large water transfer situations, and that's very exciting for us.
The funniest story that we've come across is perhaps the phone calls that we've had from shop owners who stock the pet loo and have had to call and complain because they've had their display model for their customers to come and have a look at, and when they've brought their dogs in, they've actually hopped onto the loo and weed on it. So they're upset because they can't sell their stock, but we've been wrapped because it means that it actually does work. We're in talks at the moment with America, Asia, Europe, the UK, South Africa. There's been huge global interest.
As soon as the show aired, I was just swamped with inquiries, hits on my website. The Solomon Islanders saw it as a good way to minimise the machetes in sight in the villages, and that's led on to being able to seek some funding from the World Bank to use it in conflicted communities.
We got very busy after the grand finals. I was going to retire, but it's more hectic than ever.
The invention of the year is John DeBosey and the Molectra Tyre Recycler.
The last time you saw me on TV, I was in the tin shed. Now I graduated to a beautiful concrete factory. We just moved in yesterday. Since that successful night, we acquired engineering companies from Australia and from overseas that assisting us designing and building the machines and the factories. The Sydney factory will be approximately 10,000 square metres in size. We will be able to recycle 2 million tyres a year. I will take over the world. And it will be a very quiet world because we're using rubber instead of concrete. All those new inventors, this is where you can get to if you're persistent. Don't ever give up.
And it's great to have our 2005 Inventor of the Year, John DeBosey, here tonight. G'day, John. Now, this is exciting, isn't it? The judges have decided this year's winner. Let's get them and the inventors back. The 5 finalists are the earthquake-proofing Quake Safe, the Frook for building roofs, the bed sore preventing programmable turning bed, the water cleaning solar water purifier, and the ears for air compressors. Have you got a winner?
We've got a winner, James, and while we were all over the shop with the criteria up here, we've picked one that nails it on every count. We're really wrapped.
You're all happy?
We're very happy.
We're very happy.
You're all happy? All right. This is the envelope. I'm not going to open it, though. I'm going to give it to someone else to open. Please welcome our very special guest tonight, His Excellency Major General Michael Jeffrey, Governor-General of Australia.
Thank you very much for coming. Well, James, it's lovely to be here. 5 absolutely magnificent inventions.
I understand you're big on the importance of innovation.
Well, I talk about Australia as being a nation of excellence, the global example, because I think if we're the best at doing everything, that will undoubtedly make us a very prosperous and secure nation. And what we've seen tonight, I think, is getting us well on that way to being that nation of excellence.
There's some fantastic things. Are you a tinkerer yourself? Do you have a shed at Yarralumla?
I've been denied my shed for the last 3 years.
Oh, no shed?
I'm just getting one.
Are you?
Yes.
And I understand you're actually an inventor yourself a little while back.
I invented the jungle cooking smell extractor.
Fantastic. How did it work?
Well, it was a little box, an airtight box with a lid.
Yes.
And inside it was a filter of charcoal.
Ah.
And the soldier put his little cooking device with his tin of baked beans in the little box, put the lid on. It cooked, the smell was extracted by the charcoal, he removed his tin of baked beans, and he could eat without creating a smell.
Well, thank you very much for being here tonight. All right, the 2006 Inventor of the Year is going to be helped by 4 different organisations: Austrade, the CSIRO, IP Australia and Oz Industry. From these organisations, they'll get a whole range of assistance that will help them further develop and commercialise their invention both here and overseas. Your Excellency, who's the winner?
It's my great pleasure to announce the winner. The New Inventor's Invention of the Year for 2006 is Cross Monsieur with Ears.
Yes, well, I'd just like to thank the New Inventors for inviting me on, giving me the opportunity to come on the very first show and making me a winner of that show, and now for the judges for picking me. It's just a great honour. I just can't believe it. Thank you very much. CSIRO, Oz Industries and Austrade
and IP Australia
for all the help that they give to all us in potential inventors.
Good on you, Chris. Congratulations. And of course, enormous thanks to the incredible people that make this show possible, the inventors. See you next year. Good night.
It was always going to be difficult. There were 5 really amazing inventions.
I was barracking for the programmable turning bed.
They chose the right one. It's good for industry, it's good for the environment, and it has a huge market.
I was very impressed with both the Quake Safe and the solar water purifier.
I thought it was a very difficult decision to make. Yes, we would have liked to have seen Quake Safe get there.
I think any of them could have won tonight. I particularly liked the solar water purifier.
I think it was a good winner, and I think it's something that you'll see everywhere soon.